this point, and going to have to wait for hopefully a decent break in the weather and make sure we get every last soul off that mountain. I'll leave it to the Nevada County Sheriff's Office operations to decide and weigh in on that.
Yeah, and looking at the data of the 9 folks that are still on the mountain, 7 are female and 2 are men.
Sheriff Moon, I want to make sure we get the timeline of when you mentioned all of these discoveries were made. I believe you said that around 5:30 p.m., your search and rescue teams who had gone in and then on the Snowcat skied in 2 miles, made contact with the 6 survivors, and the 6 survivors led them to the 8 decedents that knew about, or 3 decedents at the time?
At that time, they had located 3 decedents themselves while they were waiting for their rescue. Our search and rescue team, once they arrived, were able to locate the rest.
Okay, and then I know, with much respect to your office, last night you all issued a statement about the efforts at about 10:40 p.m. At that time, it was still a search mission for people who were presumed to be alive. At that point, was the decision made to still call it a search mission for potential survivors because they had not been pronounced dead? Or how does that work with your office making the announcement, and then we were kind of under the impression that there was a search mission going on for survivors as of this morning? So how does that work out?
Yeah, first and foremost, we wanted to talk to the families before we released anything. So from last night till this morning, and again, it was through statements from the rescuers that were on scene, and they were able to locate the total of 8 known decedents. We're still looking for 1. And again, based on the conversations of truly what their conditions were, looking at the forecast, looking at the totality of the circumstances, and recognizing that it was going to be very difficult for us to get back out there. And again, the information comes in. We try to confirm and assure that we have the best information. But this morning, we really wanted to be able to have a conversation with the families before making any announcements.
Sheriff Moon,
female, 2 are men, and so 3 of that group are guides. Can you tell me the gender of the guides who have been deceased?
Yeah, we are not releasing that right now. So just the numbers of who we're looking for as far as gender. Yeah.
Sheriff Moon, can you help clarify? Were 4 guys on the trip. You say 1 were a survivor. Does that mean the other 3 died?
As presumed correctly.
Specify of the surviving guide, if the surviving guide was a man or a woman?
Was the surviving guide was a male.
The one man was a guide, and then 5 women that were.
Correct. Correct. Thank you. Sir.
Could you provide more information on the one person that is still unaccounted for? Was it a man? Was it a woman? Is there any chance they could potentially still be alive, or at this point are they potentially presumed dead?
Presumed deceased, just based on the totality. The statements of the group was together. And again, the conditions, I wasn't on the scene with them last night, but I've seen some of the documentation, pretty horrific. They were able to locate 8, and then the Snowcat was ready to go. So everybody got loaded up and brought down the mountain. Again, took several hours to get from the Snowcat back down to the trailhead, where we met with some ambulances from Truckee Fire to get the injured to the hospital. And the other folks got some quick statements. But again, this is an ongoing investigation, and we're going to be getting a lot more of those detailed statements as the days move forward.
So just to clarify, did that mean that would be 9 people that would have died in this incident?
Correct. Yeah, we don't have any more press conferences scheduled. We would have put that out. But our public information officer is Ashley Quadros. She's the one that started our conference today. She can put out her information if you haven't already received that information. I'm sure several of you are here today because you've been in contact with the office. And as soon as we get any updated information, again, we'll be having those conversations with the family, and then we'll be reporting out the information for you all.
Just to clarify, were the SOS signals, I think Rusty, you mentioned they were sort of like iPhone SOS communication. Is that what the 6 used, or did they use an Avalanche beacon per se? And for the lay people, can you describe the differences in the communication tactics? You know, what's more effective, the iPhone SOS or a beacon device that somebody would buy from an REI or something like that?
Right. We received information from both. So both of those came through. As far as the technology, I don't know if Don or Rusty has more on the actual beacon devices. Yeah. You wanna...
Yeah, the communication that we were with, I believe, was one of the guides. It was through text. He was texting as we were going back and forth.
So it is safe to say for people who do this kind of outdoors recreating that sometimes the technology can be as good as just using your iPhone and texting back and forth, or would you recommend that anybody who does chance going out in the backcountry?
I really am not in a position to recommend anything on it, but I think, you know, these devices are very readily available, and, you know, I think if you're going to be in the backcountry, it'd probably be wise to have one of those.
Is there anybody up there who was part of the rescue mission yesterday, and would they be able to tell us a little bit more about what they see out there and what they hear out there?
Yeah, based on the conditions at the scene up there, there is no rescuers or first responders in the area. They all came off the mountain late last night with the 6 that we rescued.
Oh, I mean up there, right here, in the press conference.
Gotcha. No, these were all incident commanders from our location here. A lot of the incident commanders that were there last night went back up today so that they could be there. Again, looking at the conditions, looking at the forecast, looking at how much snow did come down, talking with the Avalanche, Sierra Avalanche Center to see truly it still is a very high, they list it as a very high danger. And making those decisions going forward is going to be based off of safety to the responders.
Is there a command post that will be set up going forward until the remaining 9 people are recovered?
Yeah, we started last night at the Boreal Ski Resort parking lot. I believe we've moved to the Truckee substation. Yeah, our Truckee substation is right on Donner Pass Road, where we have the sheriff's office station. So it's in downtown Truckee.
Question about the Avalanche generally, not about the actual investigation. I know you directed us to the Sierra Avalanche Center. This was listed on the destructive force scale as a D2.5. I know a D2 is it could bury and kill a person. D3 could bury, destroy a house. What does a 2.5 mean exactly? Would you be able to answer that?
So it's in between the two, effectively. It can cause loss of life, but it's not as big as a 3. Sorry, don't have any more information.
Is it significantly powerful? Is it unusual, or could you give us some broader context of how frequently we see an avalanche of this power?
Unfortunately, while the Avalanche Center is hosted, I'm not an avalanche expert myself, so I'd be guessing. Thanks.
We'll just take 1 or 2 more questions, and also just to clarify, as we've talked about all the individuals involved in that, since there's been a lot of back and forth on guests versus guides, I just want to clarify the people genders again, just one more time to mitigate any confusion. So we had 15 people total, 9 women and 6 men. Our survivors are 4 men and 2 women. And our at-large presumed deceased are 7 women and 2 men. And again, with that, we'll take 1 to 2 more questions. Yes.
What went through your mind when you realized the totality of this tragedy?
definitely thinking of the folks that were out there. The 6 that we had contact with, wanting to do everything we could in our power to get to them. Also weighing in, making sure that our staff and our volunteers that, again, I've been a search and rescue coordinator through my career here at the Sheriff's Office. Incredible group of men and women that respond day and night to calls that we request them because of their expertise and their training and their commitment. They're folks that like to recreate, and to know that we have that resource. Also, in talking with our staff, making sure that we were safe last night. Horrific conditions, just whiteout conditions. It's a known area where we have a lot of missions, search and rescue missions. That Castle Peak, Peter Grubb Hut, Frog Lake Hut area. So we train in that area. So they knew the terrain. That doesn't make it easier for them when the snow conditions and the wind conditions. So what was going through my mind is hopefully they can get there to the 6 that were sheltering in place. So getting the call that they had made it, and then they made it safely off the mountain, but immediately thinking of the folks that didn't make it, and knowing our mission now is to get them home, and making sure that we're doing it safely, and in constant conversation with those families. Thank you.
How low the temperature dropped last night?
It had to be well below freezing. Clearly it was snowing most of the night up there. So in the high 20s, low 30s. Cold conditions. Really appreciate it.
All right, that will conclude our news conference for today. We will continue to keep everyone updated as we continue to, our search and rescue crew continues to help get all those folks off the mountain safely and back to their loved ones. The best way to follow us is to stay with our Facebook page. I know several of you are also on our media list, but Facebook, we will post all updates as they're available. Thank you all for coming.